What's going on, guys? Long time no talk. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Megan Savage. I am a 26-year-old digital entrepreneur, and I come on here and I pour value into guys and tell you about my life. It has been a quick minute. I'm sorry. I have been off traveling and going to events. Currently, this year, I went to the UK. First off, beautiful, absolutely beautiful architecture. I love the food. I love the people. The air smells nicer. I definitely want to go again. I also got to see Big Ben, so go check out my Instagram if you want to see those pictures. Besides that, right after I went to Chicago for another event, and surprisingly, I actually loved it as well. I got to see the Bean, but it literally had a fence around it. I have no idea why. I got those pictures too, don't worry. And I got to try deep dish pizza for the very first time. Guys, if you know me at all, you know I'm a huge foodie, so I was in heaven. But besides the point, with my travels, I actually meet a lot of people. I love to network. If you guys see me ever on the streets, whether it's in Toronto or, you know, I'm off traveling and I come to your hometown, definitely come say hi, okay? I love meeting new people. I love getting to know you guys and, you know, just have a quick conversation, maybe take a pic, something, you know? A very common conversation that I have when I meet people is, Megan, oh my gosh, like I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to work online, but I just don't know if it's meant for me. I don't know if I'll be any good at it. Let me tell you what. First off, it's very normal to have that fear when trying anything new, especially something that's out of your forte. I thought I'd make it a little bit easier for you guys. I'm gonna go over 5 characteristics of someone who might be an entrepreneur. I have worked with people literally all over the globe, and these 5 characteristics are something that I notice in every single one of them, whether their age is different, their background is different, or they're from the States, Europe, wherever. So if you're someone that's always wanted to get into entrepreneurship, or you know somebody that has been thinking about it but just hasn't taken that first step yet, get them to watch this video. Characteristic number 1, they know they're meant for more. I have heard this from almost every single entrepreneur that I've ever met. I actually was just in December in Vegas for a huge convention where I was talking to people that were 6, 7, and 8-figure earners in the industry. And every single one of them, when they talked about their story, was talking about how they knew that they were meant for more than just an average life. Some people could describe it based on their stories and their backgrounds and the trauma they might have went through. Other people just didn't really understand. They had this feeling deep down that they were going to do big things with this life. Me, for example, I always talked about that. Even from when I was a young child, that like as young as I can remember, I always knew that this life had something more to offer me, and I had something more to offer it. It was this feeling in my gut that I was going to impact a lot of people and that I needed to prepare myself. I couldn't really describe it, but now looking back, I could sort of see how the traumas in my life, the obstacles, the things that I went through, how it lined me up and the stars aligned to put me in this exact same spot to meet the people that I did, to have the life that I do now. And I know that it's just the beginning. Number 2, you're probably the oddball. You didn't really fit in as a kid. Something society does from the moment we get into school. First off, I'm just gonna touch on that a little bit. School is there to teach you how to be an employee. They teach you how to be another cog in the system. I'm not saying education is bad. First off, I'm going to touch on that point, but I absolutely love education. I love to learn new things. But I don't know about you guys, but I've never had to know like the circumference of a pie. Like I've never had I've never had to actually use most of the things that I've used in school now. That's for a whole other video, but I want you to keep that in mind. That's just one of the many examples that what society does the moment that we are old enough to think at all is they start pre-programming us to think a certain way, so we'll be a certain way when we're older. So maybe you were that kid that you were like, hey, this just doesn't make sense. Maybe you were more of a visionary as a child. You had really, really big goals and most of the kids didn't really understand. If you've ever been told to be realistic when you're talking about your goals, you're probably in this category. And this can carry on from childhood to you know, teenage years to maybe even young adult years. Maybe while other kids were more interested in partying and hooking up, you were more interested in learning a high income skill or traveling the world or how to build a business. Whatever it is, you just didn't fill the puzzle piece that the society has put you in. Number 3, and this one could be an obvious one, a job, a 9-to-5 job just does not sit right with you. I want to say this for what it is. I talk a lot on my page about hating the 9-to-5 world. And here's the thing, I am not talking to the people who want to be doctors, lawyers, or dancers, or whatever you want to be. If you have a passion and you're like, I want to do this thing, this is my calling, I love it, go for it. Like, I'm super, super happy for you. But I'm talking about the people that wake up, they go to a job, they absolutely despise it, they hate their life, it's not bringing them forward in their goals. They're literally working for like 5, even 7, but let's say 5 days a week to have 2 days off, and pretty much those days are spent sleeping or partying the night away or whatever, just to get yourself ready and mentally preparing to go and slave away again. And that's even on the better scale. Some people, they literally work, like I used to work 2 weeks in a row and I'd get like 3 days off and have to go again, open to close. It was ridiculous. And that thought just doesn't sit right with you. It could be the fact of trading your time for money. Like, I hate having to put a dollar amount on your time because time is so valuable. And imagine working for minimum wage. Like, I don't even know what it is anymore. I think it's like $13 an hour. It's $13. You're slaving away for someone else for $13 an hour. Actually makes me want to throw up. They raised the retirement age. So you're expected to do that till you're like 70. Where at all is the time in there for you to actually live your life? Whether it's any of that, or you just don't like the thought of you busting your butt to make somebody else rich and you're not even getting any of the rewards. I don't know about you, but if someone's gonna get mad at me for sitting or going to the bathroom a certain amount of times in the day, I cannot do it. And I'm not saying don't work hard. I'm not, because I work very hard, but it's also about working smart and knowing that your efforts are going towards your future and not someone else's. And here's the thing, if you're in a partnership, that's great, but as long as you both are mutually benefiting from it, that makes way more sense. To me, at least. Number 4, you are obsessed with growth. You just want to be the best of the best in whatever aspect in life that, matters to you. Side note, I know most people that were athletic, they usually have this type of, bone in their body. You just want to win and you want to be the best version of yourself you can be. Whether that's learning skills like communication or sales or psychology or whatever it is, you had way more interest in that than anything else. And the beautiful part about entrepreneurship is it forces you to grow because you are surrounded by a different type of people. You know you're in the right room when you're either making the least amount of money, you have the least amount of knowledge, the least amount of experience. That's how you know you're in the right room, because it forces you to be better. It's this energy that it's just exhilarating. Like it's completely out of this world. The conversations you have are different. You just can't get enough. So whether that's you go to networking events or you start reading more books or you start, listening to podcasts and watching, informational videos on YouTube instead of watching those reality TV shows or whatnot, you just can't get enough. And you know that there's always room to grow. There's never a cap. I can seriously not say this enough. Entrepreneurship has molded me into the person I am today. But I know, this isn't even like Megan 2.0, okay? There's so many other levels to this thing, and I talk about it a lot on my page, that there is levels to this game. And as soon as you think you hit a new top, you'll meet like 100 other new people that have achieved things that you never thought before that were achievable. It inspires you to do more. And a side note is usually you reach a point where you want to inspire others to do more. And it's just, it no longer becomes about money. It becomes about legacy. So if you want more on that, I'll definitely talk more about that on my stories, because building the legacy, that hits different. And the last one that I want to go over is not scared to fail. Now, when I say this, guys, I do not mean that you don't have fear. I was terrified when I first got into online, my online business. Now, this wasn't my first time in entrepreneurship, so I already had that experience under my belt, and it wasn't as, terrifying as the first time I've ever tried entrepreneurship, but it was a new feeling because first off, it's online, you're very exposed, people can see you from all over the place, and it's normal when you don't have any experience or knowledge on something to be worried of judgment and to be worried that you're gonna mess up. But what separates the good from the great is, are you scared? Yes. Will you do it scared? Yes. I heard this quote and it's absolutely changed my life, and it's, fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. The first step is always the most scary. And it's true. Anyone's mindset will obviously evolve with the more experience that they get, but let me tell you what. Was I scared of failure? Yes. Did I let that stop me from pursuing my dreams? Absolutely not. Over the years, I came to realize that failure was so necessary. What stops a lot of people is they get scared of judgment, they get scared of whatever it is, and they just completely get into the, I'll go when I'm ready, or I'll think about it, or whatever. They'll make up any excuse they need to in order to delay actually putting in the action to see any result. But if you listen to that gut feeling that you have that says you're meant for more and that it's not going to be an easy route, but you're going to do it because there's something amazing waiting for you and your loved ones on the other end, that's how you have drive, that's how you have hunger, and that's how you achieve great things. I used to think that these people that made all this money, they were just like built different. Like they just, had this thing to them that made them unscared of everything and super brave and whatnot. But actually after meeting them, I realized there's only a couple things that are a little bit different from them, but regardless, anyone can actually be successful. It's just the actions that they take. It's not how they show up on the good days, it's how they show up on the bad. And they love failure. Failure is not bad. It just means that you learned something doesn't work, so you're gonna try something else. Failure is a lesson. It's a stepping stone on your way to success. Another quote that really hits for me is nobody knows how many sleepless nights an overnight success took. Especially on social media, guys, it is very easy for a person to not show their losses, to not show the nights that they cried themselves to sleep, but only show you the good stuff. And unfortunately, as humans, we like to compare. If you put yourself in the right environment with the right people, learn how to absorb knowledge and not take failure so seriously, in the terms of it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. It just matters how many times you get back up, and it's so true. You could fall down 10, 100, 1,000 times, but on that 1,001 times, that could be the time that you achieve everything you've ever wanted. And the last thing I will say on that point, because I did say people like to compare, you might see someone that, let's say, hit a massive milestone, like made 6 figures in their business in 3 months, okay? And it could have taken you 3 years. Not only does everyone have a different story, I want to lay it out for you like this. Most people think that they want the fast success. They want, the 3 months to hit 6 figures and so on and so forth. But the person that took 3 years to hit 6 figures, they're gonna have way more knowledge and understanding and have been through more and have more experience. So let's say, heaven forbid, anything were to happen to their business where they needed to rebuild, I would trust the person that took 3 years to rebuild it way faster than the person who would take 3 months because they've been through it. Everything that has led you up to even this point of watching this video is setting you up for opportunities to be the person that you are meant to be, to fulfill that feeling that you have of you being meant for more. There are honestly so many other, common traits and characteristics that I see in entrepreneurs, but honestly, out of all of them, those are the 5 most common and the ones that really stick out to me. This was just supposed to be a short little video for you guys. I did get into a little bit of a rant there, but I want you guys to know, is entrepreneurship easy? No, not by any means, but neither is going to a 9 to 5 and working a job you hate and absolutely struggling with finances, location freedom, time freedom. None of that's easy. So you need to pick your heart. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave any questions you have for me in the comments below. I love to answer them for you. And if you want more information about what I do or my entrepreneurial journey online, definitely go check out my socials. I'll link them down below. Come say hi to me on Instagram. Like I said before, guys, if I'm ever traveling, I do announce on my Instagram stories all the time where I'm going and what events I'm going to and hosting. If I'm ever in your town, come say hi to me. I'd love to chat. And remember, we're savage, not average.